Now in a previous video we looked at how we can use cascading style sheets to take raw XML data and give it a cleaner look, a more user-friendly look, something the users are more accustomed to seeing in a browser. What we're going to talk about now in these next few videos is go into the idea of transformations, and of course we're talking about XSLT. Now XML is going to do you this way quite a bit, and that is to learn or understand some part of XML, you have to learn or understand something else, and that's exactly what's happening here. So before we actually get into XSLT, doing the XSL transformations, we first need to take a step back and look at the language that you're going to use to pull off an XSLT transformation. Now, as you can see on the screen, we're asking the question, what is XPath? And obviously XPath is the language that we're going to use to pull off these XSTL transformations. Now, this is really where the power of XML really starts to kind of magnify itself, and you see the possibilities. Keep in mind, XML, back to the basics, is designed to give us data in a very generic manner, but yet the data still has its meaning. The tags describe the data still. Now with XSLT and to do transformations, we can now go through that document, find information, do all kinds of functionalities to the document without having to go back to the data source. Now the way we do that is with the XPath language, and notice this is an expression language. It is non-XML. Now it's XML-like, and it has some XML characteristics about it, and we're actually going to use the XPath language in an XML environment to do a transformation. Okay, if that confused you, let's just keep going. You'll see in just a few minutes. The main thing with XPath is we're going to use this to address the various parts of an XML document. What's going to happen is I'm going to end up with an XML document with all this data in it, and I need to do something with this XML document. And to be able to transform it and to use various pieces of it, what I need to do is to be able to identify certain levels or certain nodes or even related nodes in this XML document to do the transformations on them. So that's what XPath is going to give me. It's going to give me the ability to see individual parts, or every individual part of an XML document, and not only see the different parts, but to be able to see the parts in their relationships to the other parts of the document. Now, what happens with XPath is your document is going to be transferred into a tree of nodes, and the nomenclature here and some of the terminology can really be kind of bizarre sometimes. But with XPath, notice that if I've got my people.xml file that we've been using so far, and I want to transform this, I don't want all this information reported in a browser. I just need the name of a husband, the wife's name, and I only want to put the wife's name if the husband's employed or something like that. So I want a subset of this data. Well, I'm going to use XPath, and XPath will sit right in here in the middle. And what XPath is going to do is let me identify those individual pieces so that I can pull this data that I need over into a document. Now what's really cool about this is as I pull this data over into the document, you'll see a little bit later on that I can then format the document. I can tell it, okay, when you pull this over, let's put it into an HTML format. Now that's the XSLT, that's the transformation process. But keep in mind, and this is a little bit transparent when you look at it, when you're using XSLT, you're using XPath. Now we're not going to delve too deeply into XPath here any more than we have to understand XSL transformations. But you need to know XPath is out there, and you owe it to yourself, if you're going to be living in the XML world, to go out and grab some resources on XPath and really get a good understanding of what this language will do. Now, it is somewhat hidden. It doesn't really feel like a language for the way we're using it, but that's exactly what's happening here. So in the next video, we'll take a little closer look at XPath and what it gives us.